Hello everyone, this is the first video of a series of online lectures regarding the pediatric and obstetric module. I am Sébastien de Saneves da Rocha and I once was a student at the European School of Osteopathy, went on to teach for a little while there, and then from 2016 to 2019 I taught pediatrics and obstetric at the British College of Osteopathic Medicine until I started again last year at the ESO teaching this very module with last year's students, and we had to continue the lectures online. So we are here in the second academic year with those online lessons. So with regards to the first topic, it is about safeguarding and child protection. You would have the curriculum with you, and if you haven't seen it, do refer to the learning zone where you would have the curriculum uploaded, as well as the slide, the handout titled Safeguarding and Child Protection. So by me, by Sébastien de Saneves da Rocha. Look at the slides, they offer you some guidance as to where we go with this topic, and it will be the same for the following lectures. You will have the handouts and those lectures via video or maybe an audio. So safeguarding and child protection. So why do we start with that? Simply because when we deal with children, we need to make sure we understand what it means to work with young infants and older infants. If we talk about teenagers, we need to understand whether we can treat a teenager without the presence of a parent, for example. We need to understand if a child of a given age can give consent. We need to be able to understand where does a risk to the health of a child lies, and what do we need to do, who do we need to speak with and to with regards to potential maltreatment, neglect or abuse. So what does safeguarding and protection mean? Safeguarding means it is the welfare of children, or we need to ensure the welfare of children and protect them from any harm. Protection is the act we take to prevent that very harm, that maltreatment, that neglect to abuse. So above all, and starting with, children need a safe and healthy and nurturing environment to achieve their full potential. That means they need love, care, attention, availability, opportunity, stimulations to thrive. So they need to be in an environment that can promote all those aspects. And that comes from family, parents, the school, the community, and of course us included, health professionals, when they come and seek treatment, most of the time with their parents. Some teenagers, of course, will make that step to come to us, and we'll see that later, when we can or when they can give consent. Protection of children and young people, if we think of teenagers, from harm is a primary responsibility of parents, families, carers, and all members of society, including us health professionals. So safeguarding therefore defines few aspects such as protection, such as prevention from harm to the child's health and development, promoting conditions and the environment for the child to be safe, to feel safe, and then supporting and taking action for children to have the best outcomes in life. So what should we consider when we speak about safeguarding? Um, Bear that in mind that the child can flourish, have positive experience, stay safe in an environment that promotes all those aspects I named before, that is care, love, protection, availability, opportunities to develop and thrive. So few things for you to think about is when you're exposed to, and you will be later on this year or next year, next academic year, be confronted in a situation, in a clinical context, with dealing with a baby, a growing child, or maybe a teenager. What are the potential risks? What situation may increase the risk to the health of the child? For example, if mom leaves a 10-year-old child, her son, her daughter, with you, goes shopping, and then tells you that she will come and pick him up or pick her up at the end of her shopping. Is that safe? Is it a situation that you'll feel comfortable with? Is that following the procedures, the protocols, the regulations set in place by the European School of Osteopathy, but local authorities also? Would you know how to handle a situation of potential threat to the welfare of a child? For example, you observe abnormal marks on the body of a child. What would you do? What action might you take? How can you raise a concern? Should you speak to your colleagues, your clinic group, the people who may have a little more experience? Should you speak with the clinic tutor? Should you speak with the admin at the clinic or the receptionists? All of that I'll be able to guide you as we progress in this lecture. Who can you speak to receive external support? So from the local community, for example, local authorities. Should you speak with the police? Should you speak with the local authority boards? Safeguarding defines 6 principles that applies with children and vulnerable adults, but in our case it will be for children. The first one is accountability. In the event of a child who puts trust into you, wants to tell you something, maybe a situation where they've been abused or neglected or maltreated, then you must make sure you tell him or her that you're about to record that on paper, and then you will speak with someone, you will report it to someone who can allow the situation to progress further. Empowerment is the second principle, and it is important for the child to feel that they are still in control of their situation. That's empowerment. You need to encourage and give support to speak and feel that they can put the trust into you. They should feel empowered to make their own decision. Partnership is the third principle, and that defines the collaborative work you must engage into with local authorities, with local services in the community, who may be able to assist and detect the maltreatment. Some situations may need urgent action, and others will need further investigation that occur over time. And other services, such as schools, for example, local authorities can investigate alongside you and gather information, gather details that will allow the case to progress further. Always be aware when you collaborate about the confidentiality, the confidential aspects in disclosing sensitive information about the child, about the situation. Proportionality is about how we react, how we take action. If there is immediate danger, then we may call 999 or 121. But if there is a suspicion of some form of maltreatment, some form of neglect that needs to be investigated further, we make a record, we put the date, the time in the record, and we'll collaborate with the services in the community to build a case. And protection is the support and representation you have of the child, since it is everyone's responsibility, particularly you, the health professional in that case, to look out for the well-being of the child. You'll find in the handout, and then do slide down to come to a little bit of history here, and you see that the Children Act was written in 1908, and then progressively over the years there were milestones in 1920 with the Children and Young Person Act, and then in 1933 when there was a consolidation in one single law, and then I move a little closer to now, the post-World War II, with the increasing recognition of human rights and child abuse. Principle of child protection were embodied in the UN Convention of the Rights of the Child. You can of course look into that a little further, and some of you who've worked with children before would know that in greater extent. Some eminent child protection organization, well, we may think of Save the Children, We Charity, known as Free the Children, Friends International, UNICEF of course. But bear in mind that in the UK we have the NSPCC, the National Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Children, that define all these safeguarding and protection procedures and regulations. So you'll find an awful lot of information on the NSPCC website. Now, I'll stop here the video and then I'll make another one for you to get an understanding of the various types of abuse, maltreatment or neglect that may occur, and how you can spot those forms of harm to children. So see you in the next video.